In the video game world, wearing proper shoes matters. Some games use shoes as power-ups, and others attribute stats based on which type of shoes you wear. In the real world, when I'm not playing games, shoes matter a lot. Since I work primarily outdoors and I walk upwards of 50,000 steps in a single day, shoes matter. In the past, I never really cared about what shoes I wore, but a few years ago, I decided to invest in what goes on my feet. There's a famous quote that says, "Invest the most in what separates you from the ground." So that's like tires, mattresses, and shoes. So I decided to put that to the test. There are a lot of different types of shoes designed for different uses. For me, I wondered if it did matter what went on my feet. So around 2019, I did extensive research on shoes and what would fit me or work for me in my situation. So this video has been technically 5 years in the making. I used to watch shoe reviews on YouTube, and I never understood how people can give a full review on a pair of shoes before they fell apart. Like, you're supposed to wear a pair of shoes until like the very end, and then like that's technically you've used the shoes, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people can't afford to buy a new pair of shoes after like a couple runs. So in this video, I will attempt to answer the question for myself, which is, what is the perfect shoe? And I know this topic isn't video game related, but I wanted to make like a one-off video, so don't worry, I will go back to my usual gaming content after this video. I just want to try something different. So I purchased a few pair of shoes in 2019 and 2020, and these shoes were the Saucony Triumphs and the Adidas Ultra Boosts. Then I later on bought Hoka's. I'll talk about those later. I'm just gonna give like a quick basic review of all the shoes that I've worn in like the last 5 years. So the Saucony Triumphs, in my opinion, were the most comfortable shoe I've ever worn. It feels like you're wearing like a large fluffy sock. The heel is like super padded, and like the foam is like very squishy, and it was super comfy. And they're also like half the price of Ultra Boosts, since they're kind of like knockoffs of the cushion technology. And they claim that the rubber on the bottom had an extended range, so it was like very tough. But in my experience, the foam cracked near the end and wore down pretty quick once like they got through that part. The heels wore down quickly after a while. And yeah, I was eventually forced to throw them out because they turned to shit, but they are a really great pair of shoes. And then I also bought the Adidas Ultra Boosts. So I bought the Sauconys for $120, then I bought the Adidas Ultra Boosts for around $200, and that was on a sale. So these shoes usually go for like $250 to $300 depending on where you buy them. I'll talk about that later. And I had a buddy who was a huge fan of these shoes, and he would occasionally tell me to go to a Foot Locker and just try a pair on, because I never like had a nice pair of shoes. He claimed they were like life-changing, and honestly they were. To this day, I still have these shoes. I've never owned a pair of shoes that were this durable and lasted me this long. Here's what they look like currently. I kept wearing them after the Hoka's died. I had to cut these parts off because they kept digging into the fabric, and this one's real bad. They're still good, cracking a bit, but I'm extremely impressed with these shoes. Yeet! I can honestly say that these were the best shoes I've ever owned, and I would honestly recommend Adidas Ultra Boost to anyone. And if you're looking at the footage, yes, like I destroyed these shoes, and they were definitely worth the money. I mean, going into it, a lot of people were telling me, hey, you know, $200 for a pair of shoes, that's kind of, you know, not a good idea, because traditionally I would wear out a pair of shoes every couple months, like 3 months. They'd be gone. The rubber would be gone. But the Adidas Ultra Boosts have literally lasted me since 2019, and like I said in the beginning of the video, I walk a lot during the week, and it held up. They're the sturdiest shoes I've ever worn, and they're the most perfect shoes. So you can stop watching right now. This is the Ultra Boosts are the best shoes. And what made them not wear out as quickly as other shoes is because they were manufactured with Continental tire rubber on the bottoms. They claimed they were long lasting, and I was kind of skeptical going into it, but I can honestly say they have lasted a long time. They are what they say they are. Around 2022, I decided to try the shoe brand Hoka One One, which means fly over the earth in the indigenous language of Maori. So I bought two pairs. I bought the Bondis, which is their highest cushioned shoe, and the Cliftons. Remember how I was telling you guys how where you buy the shoes matters? I bought the Bondis from this store called The Running Room. I bought them for like $200. And then later on, I found the same shoes being sold at this place in Brantford called Al's shoe store, I think it was called, and they were $50 less. And Marshall's had them on sale for $80. So like when you're going to buy a pair of shoes, beware of where you buy them because the markup's insane for these stores. Obviously, Hoka's are known for what they're known for. They won awards for being the best cushion shoes in the industry, but I found that without similar tread to the Ultra Boosts, the bottoms wore out very quickly, and I ended up getting pronation in my feet. And I'm not an expert on like feet stuff, but my feet weren't pronated before I started wearing Hoka's. It wasn't until after I was wearing Hoka's that my feet went pronated, which means I walk like harder on the outsides of my feet than the insides of my feet, which affects how the shoe wore down. Because there wasn't durable rubber under the shoe, it just chiseled away in the wrong direction, and then I guess I just ended up walking on wedges that were kind of like leaning in the wrong direction, which I guess that messed my feet up. If there's a chiropractor in the comments that can like tell me if I'm wrong, but yeah, Hoka's made my feet pronated. And around this time, I started following this account on Instagram called The Foot Collective, and they used to throw so much shade on Hoka's and cushion shoes, claiming that it stops muscles in your feet and legs from developing properly, which makes sense. You know, your muscles aren't really like being adapted to the ground. I understand. I agree with that side of the argument, but I walk so much in a day that I feel like it's probably better for my health to wear proper shoes that are cushioned and can reduce the impact of like my joints on the ground and, you know, stuff like that. And despite everything they say and other similar channels say about, you know, proper shoes and whatnot, I found myself feeling a lot better after wearing a pair of cushioned shoes like Hoka's Ultra Boosts or Sauconys, because I'm not losing energy due to friction with the ground and stuff like that. So I ended up sleeping better and just overall feeling better. Had a very positive effect on my health, and I would rather wear those shoes than wear bare feet. You can get like natural shoes that are flat and bring you in connection with the ground more, thus like improving your feet muscles. If you're working constantly outside, I would recommend cushion shoes. There's also this term called grounding, which is basically walking bare feet on the ground to like discharge energy into the ground. So yes, technically not wearing shoes at all is probably better for your health, but in my situation, it's probably better that I wear these shoes. That's just my little one-off video on cushion shoes. I hope you guys like this video. I will return with gaming content next week or the week after. Yeah, thanks for watching my video, and yes, Adidas Ultra Boosts, in my opinion, the perfect pair of shoes. I also wore Vans Ultra Range and Asics Gels as like an honorable mention, but like the Vans are really flat and the Asics Gels were just like, I don't know, like gooey shoes don't really work, I feel. But anyway, I gotta go now. This recording is going on way too long. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Yeet!